What's going on, guys? Chuck here with another awesome Blu-ray purchase today. Just wanted to get you caught up on some of my recent pickups, including my Vinegar Syndrome Black Friday delivery. Um, so there's quite a few things here. I'm going to start with the basic stuff before I get into the Black Friday. And let's start with this real quick. Let's just get this going because it could be a long one. I don't know. Start off with the studio releases. And the first one I picked up, this has been kind of um, iffy for some people, I guess. It's divisive, but I enjoyed it. And that is Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny 4K. I know a lot of people had problems with this film and whatever, and is it perfect or great? No, but it's Indiana Jones, and I enjoyed it. I still enjoy seeing Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones. This, to me, this is a lot of fun. It's not, it doesn't replace Raiders or Last Crusade, but to me, it's good to see Indiana Jones again. It's an interesting story, but I do like it's definitely got a more, I don't want to say supernatural, because every Indiana Jones film's got a supernatural kick to it in some way or another. Um, but this one was an interesting concept, and I think there's a little more to it. Um, or maybe not. What your opinion is. Regardless, I enjoyed it a lot. I had fun with it. So here we go. Indiana Jones, The Dial of Destiny. Next up, Oppenheimer. I have not seen this. I really wanted to see this. And of course, right now, this has been the big talking point that, the first print sold out in stores everywhere. This 4K. I was able to get this from Amazon. And it's a good sign, I guess, for physical media that, this 4K disc, for one, it's gotten, rave reviews, it's a critical acclaim, and that it's, selling very, very well, obviously. And I know Christopher Nolan, Christopher Nolan, yeah, has been very vocal about, purchasing this film, purchasing physical media in general. There's been some issues with, streaming as far as like the PlayStation goes, removing content. That's been a thing. So this has been a big, big seller. And, this is just proof that, physical media is not going well, at least not anytime soon. So I was able to grab this, and I'm looking forward to checking this out. Next up is not a Blu-ray, it's actually a DVD. And this is one, this movie came out last year around the holidays, and I loved it. I saw it, this was actually streaming on, I think it was HBO Max. I was like, wow, they're going to put this out on Blu-ray or whatever. And I never saw anything. And then, funny enough, we have a Christmas, gift exchange to do with family and friends. And, we do it's automated. There's a wish list. You go in there and your damage generator or whatever. I'm going through the wish list selections, and I happen to find this movie. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I snatched it up for myself right away. And that is A Christmas Story Christmas. This is the follow-up to, of course, A Christmas Story. And, there's been several sequels to A Christmas Story. Even official, unofficial, Christmas Story 2, whatever. This, to me, feels like the first official sequel, a real sequel to A Christmas Story, because you got these characters, you got the same actors, for the most part, back in these roles. It's great to see them. I thought Peter Billingsley did an excellent job coming back to the role of Ralphie. And, even doing the Gene Shepard narration, I think I really love how he captured the spirit of Gene Shepard in the tone of the narration and the style. It was very good. I love this. I wish it had a Blu-ray release, but I was surprised it even got a DVD. So I picked it up, and I'm very, very happy to get this. Next up was some replacements for my Best Picture collection. And first, from the Warner Archives, I got 1936 Best Picture, The Great Ziegfeld. I only had the DVD. I don't think it's the first time it's on Blu-ray, but it was just released from Warner Archive, and so it's really nice to have that. Next up, I got the Platoon 4K color edition from Screen Factory, of course, 1986 Best Picture winner. So very excited for that one. And then another Screen Factory 4Ks upgraded to the Tales from the Dark Side 4K and Silver Bullet 4K, which is really cool. Next up from Kino Lorber, this excellent Monster Squad 4K release. And this was, very excited to see this get a release. I don't know if Monster Squad was really available or it's been hard to find. But I saw they were releasing the 4K, and I got to get that right away. And what's cool is you've got the 2018 documentary, Wolfman's Got Nards, included on this, and a couple other great special features. So this is, a lot of fun. I'm really glad that, Kino got this. Next, this is from Severin, and this is an upgrade to a version I had bought just actually not too long ago at the drive-in. One of the big camp out nights at the drive-in, Severin was there. I think it might have been the Severin sleepover. The Severin sleepover they had when they were showing Dracula versus Frankenstein, and they had the table there. I picked up. I wasn't sure. I kind of went back and forth. Finally got it, and it was Zombie Holocaust, aka Dr. Butcher, now MD. Now, I had that version, and then right after I got that, Severin announced they were putting this out on a 4K. What the heck? So I went ahead and upgraded to the 4K. And this is a very nice set. This is really good. This is, he had the Zombie Holocaust cut and the Dr. Butcher MD, which is the American cut, both in 4K. Plus you've got Blu-rays. This is a really nice set, so I'm going to show this one off. You got Dr. Butcher MD, again, the American cut, 4K. The Zombie Holocaust, the Italian cut, 4K. Then both versions again on Blu-ray. So that's pretty neat. It's got reverse artwork and display either side, but what's really cool, and I can't remember if the Blu-ray version that came with this, but this one has, here, came with a barf bag. You gotta love it. So, yeah, Dr. Butcher MD 4K. And last from the extra releases, not extra releases, but the releases that weren't from Vinegar Syndrome, I got from Shout Factory, one of their Shout Select titles, the Police Academy collection. I've loved Police Academy. Now, I have only seen the first 5. I didn't see. I saw parts of 6, which is City Under Siege, and I never saw the Mission Moscow, the 7th one. That was straight to video. But I had the first 4 and DVD, double feature DVDs and whatnot. So it was nice I saw the Shout Factory's release, and it's I gotta pick this up. It's just a real simple collection. You've got all the films in here. I think they're all on there. No, you got multiple films on a disc. So you've got Police Academy 1 is on one disc, 2 and 3 is on a disc, 4 and 5 is on one disc, and then 6 and 7 is on a disc. And then you have the special feature discs. So, and you don't really there's no reverse artwork. It's just the movies. But it's nice to have all these on. I just had simple double feature DVDs. That's probably really what these are, except, upgraded to Blu-ray. But it's still nice to have these in a nice little set. Again, this was a very, very popular and funny film series in the 80s. Wouldn't fly today, I'm sure, like most of 80s comedy. But, still enjoyable. Now, for what I got from Vinegar Syndrome. Starting off with Fatal Games. And a lot of these, I'm telling you, they are blind buys for the most part. Actually, I think pretty much, almost all of them are blind buys. But it seemed interesting to me. Kind of a slasher. I think it's late 80s slasher. And it's the standard Blu-ray. But here's your verse. I don't know much about this. And some of these I'm just going to show real quick. Some of these I'm going to probably do more extensive videos on later on. But I just want to give you just what I got. Here's the back of this slip. Now, they also sent, and you may have seen some of these already online. I know I had an alternate slipcover with this, which is kind of interesting. It's weird. It's almost like a Nintendo style, the back. And again, what I've mentioned before, my thoughts on extra slipcovers is, I guess they're nice. Oh, actually, I never looked at this. It looks like this is a scratch off. But why would you do that? It's a game that you can only play it once. I realize this now. Now I'm really looking at it. Here's the instructions on here. Scratch off until killer is defeated or you have been killed. Try to defeat killer with the least amount of attacks. So collect all scratch off game cards. I'm assuming there's only the one. So I don't know if these, and now these might be available to buy individually, and you could buy more and scratch. I don't know. I'm not going to scratch these. This is very interesting. Huh. Well, you know what? I mean, last year I got, Savannah taking her top off, or taking her clothes off on the Invisible Maniac alternate slip. So at least this one, there's no nudity. Not that was bad. That's interesting. Next up in that sale, I picked up the 4K of Madman. They still had this in the limited edition with a slipcover, so it was on sale. Picked it up. Very good. I think not talked about enough. 80s slasher film. Very fun. I wanted to know nothing about again. Girls' School Screamers. Again, another available limited edition. What I do know about this, let me show that. That's excellent. Here's the back of this slipcover. I guess it was the first feature of the director of a film called Blades, which I did pick up on a blind buy from Vinegar Syndrome, which was fantastic. I think I mentioned it in a video sometime back on our pickups, but Blade is basically a Jaws parody on a golf course where they kill a lawnmower. I mean, it's even the document or the behind the scenes features or documentaries. They even flat out said, this was totally a Jaws ripoff. We just wanted to have fun with it and decided to use a killer lawnmower in this place. And it's hilarious. So I was very excited. I had to pick this up, and again, it's the same director, and I guess Troma took over the end, re-edited it, and really made it extra sleazy apparently. So this seems like a lot of fun. Girls' School Screamers. Yeah. Okay. Here was one I don't know a whole lot about. Nothing about. Wolfpack. This was just, again, one that was available still in a limited edition. And actually, it's one of these, again, limited edition, limited to 5,000. And this was 4,114. One of those. I think I have like Legend of Boggy Creek 2 in the same kind of, I guess, the Vinegar Syndrome Archive, I think that's what the brand is called. Here's and this is kind of like a high school, an allegorical examination of the allure of groupthink and the power of fascism. And it's something, the director of Nightmares of a Damon's Brain. High school student Sam Adams has just moved to a new house in sleepy all-American town. His new school seems perfect at first, and he is quickly accepted into the football team. But something about his fellow players seems a bit off, particularly the brutish and arrogant Jack Butkowski. As Sam soon discovers, the team have appointed themselves the dictatorial leaders of the school, openly modeling their behavior after the SS and terrorizing anyone who doesn't fall in line, while rewarding those who pledge blind allegiance. When Sam's unwillingness to submit results in a violent attack on an elderly family friend, he decides to take matters into his own hands. Sounds interesting. And it not necessarily, but it reminds me a little bit of Massacre at Central High, at least in that quick description. Not so much as Massacre at Central High was dealing with, Nazism in a sense, but still the whole, regime kind of overtaking the school. But so this is interesting, and it sounded good. It was still available in edition. I picked it up, so I'll have to check this out and see and figure out more. Next were some releases from the back room of Vinegar Syndrome, if you will. We're going behind the beaded curtain, and from there, I cannot pronounce this new site is called Melusina or something like that. Um, and this was one they've had out for a while, actually, before they actually got the new site. And it's a double feature. I forget what they call them. Peakorama double feature. It is Anyone But My Husband and Sweet Pumpkin. Now, why I grabbed these was because I had just picked up, I mentioned the Flesh trilogy. And was it Michael Finley who directed that? Now, as I was watching those and reading up on that, I realized his wife, Roberta Finley, who was very active in those films also, that she had directed some hardcore adult titles. And here was two of them. So I thought, well, curiosity, I got to check those out. Very similar. Well, I can say very similar to what I did with Doris Wishman, but I bought those without even knowing that Doris Wishman had directed those adult films before I bought her set. So that's just that was this weird dumb luck. But so yeah, they picked these up and checked them out and see what they're like. So these were released the Peak Round titles or collection sometime probably late last year. And they still had it, available in their collector's edition or their limited edition slipcover, so I picked it up. Why not? Their new release, and this is funny enough, out of all these films, not these new Vinegar Syndrome ones, this is the only one I've seen. Take that for what you will. And I won't go too much into it here, but I probably will talk about it in an After Dark episode, and that is Deep Inside Annie Sprinkle. That's really all I need to say. I mean, and mentioning the Doris Wishman, the Annie Sprinkle was in those Doris Wishman films that I talked about earlier. But I saw this was, actually from Quality X, who was a label partner from this Vinegar Syndrome adult site or whatever it's called, Melusina. I don't know. I at least didn't know how to pronounce it. But it's like a new release they just put out, and I'm like, oh yeah, because I have somewhere bootleg VHS of this movie that I bought from a comic convention years and years ago, because I've always been a big fan of Annie Sprinkle. And yeah, so they put this out in a nice collector's edition, and there's some good stuff in here. Not just, in the actual set here. Again, I will get into that more later. Like I said, I'll probably do an After Dark on this because I really like this a lot. But I just, really, glad, or I don't know, excited is the right word, but thrilled that they did this. Let's see, the back here, I think, yeah, it's not too bad. Interesting, though, you've got like the World Trade Center there, Ron Jeremy. There's two things you probably don't want to see these days. But, or I don't say you want to see, but, bring back harsh memories. So there's that. Okay, now on to the main events, if you will. And these next two actually, again, come from that same side label. And these are DVD sets. And I was looking at these, and I'm like, wow, these sound really interesting. I need to check these out in this first one, or this is called, I'm not sure. This has a name, but I'm not sure what it is. But this is called All Night at the Pono. And it's a 12-unit continuous show. Make sure there's something. Okay, they're actually censoring for me. This is a set of films, I guess, that, going back to a time when I guess some theaters are playing around the clock 24 hours of sleaze. Very 42nd Street kind of thing. And Vinegar Syndrome put this, I think it was at, I don't know how many movies are on here. 10 or so movies, maybe. Maybe not that many, but quite a few. Stretching will be a 24-hour period with 3 discs. To kind of, replicate this whole concept of that time. And that's one thing that's I really love about Vinegar Syndrome is their willingness to, not only preserve your typical film, I've probably said this a million times before, your typical cult classics, but they're not afraid to go back and take the sleazier parts of cinema, the not only exploitation, but serious sexploitation. And again, adult cinema, porn, if you will, or even some that are just, not quite porn. Maybe they're almost porn. I don't know. But some of these all night theater, these grindhouse kind of things, and they preserve them because it's still film, which is still preserved for the most part. And I think that's really cool to do that. And they try and put them, together in these little features. And so yeah, this is supposed to be like a non-stop how it went. Let's see. The Pono in Los Angeles was one of over 60 storefront theater operating in the city throughout the early 1970s. Unlike larger competitors like the Pussycat chain, which played big-budget 35mm features, storefront venues ran low-budget, grungy 16mm films, usually running about 44 or 45 to 65 minutes long, so it's like an hour or so. Storefront theater collection, that's what these are called. This first volume will enjoy an uninterrupted 12-hour show of Los Angeles-made 16mm features and shorts produced between 1970 and 1973, many of which could have played at the Pono. You will experience the mind-bending absurdity of vampires versus... it goes on and on, but you got movies like All-American Hustler, Carnival Go-Around, Succula, Homeward the Latecomer. I think that's... Porno Mondo, Sex Before Marriage, Shot on Location, Swing Playboy, and The Touch. The Big Snatch, Erotic Adventures of Hercules, Erotic Point of View. So there's actually 12 movies on here. And you see these are, set on 3 discs. And the school are labeled 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., and 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. So this is just really neat. Again, it's kind of trying to capture that old style, which is something we'll never see again. And that kind of stuff just really, it captures me, and I gravitate towards it. I think it's really cool as a piece of history. And then there was Volume 2. Okay. Luckily, they're kind of in and out. I won't go too much here. And again, these are very nice presentations, very hard cardboard, very thick, sturdy cardboard. And in this, you've got another 12 films. Come Deadly, Daughters of Darkness, Dr. Sexual and Mr. Hyde, The Geek, Hotter Than Hell, House of Desaad, Mania, Rites of Uranus, The Scorpion, The Sorceress, The Unholy Child, and The Waltz of the Bat. So yeah, and again, the same concept. The 7 p.m. to 11 p.m., 11 p.m. to 3 a.m., 3 a.m. to 7 a.m. So the all night running. And this set, the second volume of the Storefront Theater Collection, we journey to Pittsburgh to spend an eerie night at the Bizarre Art Theater for 12 of the weirdest, wildest, and most unsettling skin flicks ever unspooled through a 16mm projector. So, there you go. Sleaze at its finest. And again, kudos to Vinegar Syndrome for, doing these kind of sets and preserving them. I mean, again, these are on DVD, not Blu-ray. But it's still, these are very nice sets. And again, I'm glad they curate this kind of stuff, put it together, and treat it in an edition like this and give you that kind of experience of what it would have been like from that time. Now, on that same note, here is the grand finale of this set, again, in the pièce de résistance, if you will. And this was one that I wasn't sure I was going to pick up initially. I was like, I don't know if I really want to do this or not. Again, as I usually am. But reading more into it, looking at it, and thinking, wow, this is exactly, again, going back, this is exactly the kind of thing that I really enjoy and like. And that is, this whole preservation of lost film, and not seeing not the typical, fare you're used to seeing or would see in the mainstream. And of course, that set being the Vinegar Syndrome Lost Picture Show. This is all celebrating, I think, their 10th anniversary of Vinegar Syndrome and what they do. And this This is a beautiful, beautiful set, and I was so excited to get this. Again, this is something that I'm going to feature more in depth in an individual video. But this was 10 lost films on this set. And again, this is a big box, and I don't want to give too much away, but we'll just pop it up here so you can see some of the titles. And this opens up more. Again, I will get into a more in-depth on this later, but this is amazing. So there it is, Vinegar Syndrome's Lost Picture Show. So again, it's stuff like this, and what these here that I really enjoy about Vinegar Syndrome is preserving the unknown films as well as the known cult films, and just having a love for just film in general, no matter if it was high art or if it was low budget underground sleaze. It's all film. It all deserves preserving, according to Vinegar Syndrome. And what's not to love about that? So that is it for this video of recent pickups, and along with my Black Friday for Vinegar Syndrome. And again, the Lost Picture Show I will talk about separately later on. Hopefully, depends on when I get this out. Maybe before, maybe it'll pop up before this video. I don't know, honestly. Depends on how quickly I can turn these around and get them done. But if you enjoyed this, click thumbs up, share, subscribe, leave me a comment below. Let me know what you picked up from Black Friday, if you picked up anything at all, your thoughts on any of these films, or just say hi. I'll always take hi. So until next time, this is Chuck saying I will see you on the other side.